Hello everyone! In this video I was commissioned by my little sister to create a doll from the animated film The Last Unicorn. Now the character she requested for me was an Anthro version of Lady Malthea. So for the doll, I'm repurposing a few of my wife's abandoned projects. The parts I'm going to be using is a Monster High created monster body and a Rapunzel head. In order to prep the doll for modification, I used nail polish remover to break up any of the sealant that was sprayed on the doll's parts. My sister requested that her version of Lady Malthea only have horse ears. To do this, I used a knife to remove the human ears and nail file to smooth it out. I also filed the rest of the body parts so paint would have a surface to latch on later in the project. Another feature my sister requested that the doll have hoofs instead of human feet. In order to do this, I took epoxy and molded around the doll's existing foot until it took on the shape of a hoof. I also used the epoxy to fill in the holes in the back of the doll's torso. I let the epoxy dry for a few days before using a Dremel to smooth out the clay areas. Once the doll was dry and clean, I coated it 3 times with a workable sealant before covering it with the skin tone spray. In order to make Lady Malthea's hair white like the unicorn's mane, I first covered the scalp with white paint. While the head was drying, I used a pet brush to brush out the yarn to make hair string. After the head was dry, I took the rerooting tool and pushed the strands of hair into the doll's head and kept repeating this process until the head was completely full. For the bases of the horse ears, I used the Monster High Creative Monster ear clips. I used a X-Acto knife to get rid of the clippy parts at the bottom of the ears and drilled holes at the bottom. Next, I added a dab of glue to a sewing pin before sticking it inside the ear. Now the ears are a little too short for horses' ears. In order to fix this problem, I added epoxy to give it a fuller shape. After letting it dry for a few days, I sanded the ears and then painted it white along with the hoops. Once the ears were fully dried and the head is covered in hair, I dipped the needles into an E600 glue before placing it into the doll's head. Carefully holding onto the head, I poured the glue inside the hole and used chopsticks to stir it around until it was completely coated. I let it set for 24 hours before moving on to the face-up. So in this process, I used acrylic paint and chalk pastels for the face-up. When it came to styling the hair, I used a combination of doll brush, scissors, craft glue instead of hairspray, and hair straightener. To make the eyes shiny, I used a clear gloss paint. For the horn, I watched one of Froggy Stuff's unicorn tutorials to learn how to make the horn. To apply the horn, I just used hot glue. Don't worry, I will leave a link to her video along with the materials I used in this video. The last step for the face-up was to add a purple star on the forehead with acrylic paint. In the film, the unicorns have fur around their hooves. To give this doll the solution, I used hot glue gun to glue scraps of hair fibers to the legs. Then I used scissors and a pet brush to style the hair legs. Finally, the last modification was taking a pipe cleaner and gluing it into the back of the doll, adding tiny pieces of hair to the end to make it a bendable unicorn tail. The dress was not as long as the original Lady Malthea's dress, but I didn't want to hide the hard work I did on the hooves. I also added ribbon to the bottom to give the dress a new look. For the buttons and pocket area, I faked it by just gluing down pieces of ribbon. Her white trim around the collar is the same lace as the bottom half. In the end, the dress turned out not very flowy. The doll's expression is too cheerful compared to Lady Malthea's lost and sad expression from the film. In the end, it's not too bad what I had to work with for my first female doll with human features. I'm still learning, so if you have any suggestions what I could do next time, let me know in the comments. Other than that, thank you for watching and have a good day. Oh, by the way, my sister loved her, so that's a plus for my first commission doll. Yay!